Hi everyone, Scott Goodwill here. It's hard to believe that our class is almost come to an end, but it's time to do our last activity. In this case, I selected a lesson to share with you called Solar Energy. I collected it from the Science and Math Informational Learning Educators website. Um, it's a lesson that's designed to help students to recognize that the sun's energy can be collected and stored and used in many different ways. You're going to need some materials to get started. First, we need two bottles, one black and one white. I took a couple of drinking water bottles and just painted them. So I did a little legwork ahead of time. We need to have some balloons, one balloon for each bottle. And I added a couple of things to this lesson to modify it. I added a cup of water for each bottle. I felt that students could use a thermometer and a STEM notebook. I'll explain how those things are used here in a moment. So the first thing we want to do is wait for a good sunny day. And we happen to have one today, so it's going to work perfectly for me. You need to select the materials you need to build your model. So make sure you have a little bit of water, half cup in each bottle, and then attach a balloon to the top of each bottle, making sure that the bottle is airtight. They have done nothing other than add a little bit of tap water to each bottle. Okay, and then you sit back and make some observations. After a very short period of time, it was only a couple minutes, I noticed that the balloon on the black bottle actually expanded. So I would have students then record these findings in the STEM notebook, which is something that I added to modify the lesson. Students could actually draw a diagram and label. Okay, from the investigation then, they could also actually touch each bottle to see if there's a difference. In this case, I found that the white bottle was rather cool. The black bottle was gathering some heat. I would also have students record those findings in their STEM notebook. Okay, then I felt like, okay, the water is something that I added to the investigation. I actually have the students, in this case, I had it poured over my hands just to see if I could feel a difference. In a classroom setting, I'd probably have them pour it into a container and then quickly measure the temperature of the water. You might have different groups let their bottles of water sit in the sun a little bit longer than others to see if they noticed a difference in the rate of the heat or the maximum temperature that the sun provided. Have students conclude the activity by summarizing what they observed and maybe making some estimates or some guesses on what was actually happening. Hopefully they would come up with the conclusion that the air inside the black bottle expanded, thus making the balloon swell. I felt in this case that this lesson did a great job matching up with STEM practices. I believe the activity and the modifications I made hit every single one of these practices. We were asking questions, we're developing a model, we're doing an investigation, we're coming up with some solutions. I would say that maybe we'd extend a little bit more by saying, hey, how could we use this in the real world to make our world a better place? Okay, and as far as the inquiry, scientific inquiry points here, found that we hit them as well. We're gathering evidence, we're trying to make explanations, we're using what we know about science and our experiences to come up with a conclusion. Hopefully students would find a good reason to use energy. Obviously, we're living in a world where we're trying to come up with clean energy, and that's very important. I think this lesson gets that point across. So everyone, thank you very much. I really appreciate your comments and your hard work over this past few weeks, and best of luck to all of you. Enjoy the rest of your summer.